see how this goes. I thought about recording outside in the backyard in a little bit of a shady spot, but I just found an ant crawling on me, so I don't know how long I will actually be out here for. But maybe I'll do this a little bit closer. And you can't see my house. I feel like there's ants all over me. Ew. So if you hear any noise in the background, I apologize, and I also hope that my voice is loud enough for you to hear me. We'll adjust that a little bit and see if that helps, but hello and welcome to my knitting podcast, formerly called the Fiber Nerd Podcast. I have been dealing with some anxiety as of late, and I'm trying to be more open about it, and hoping that that helps me get through some of my rough patches, and maybe even helping some of you that may be also going through the same things that I am. So I apologize if there are any noises in the background. My neighbors are out. Sounds like they're barbecuing, and we live just off of a busy street, so there is traffic noise. So I think that I decided to call this the Anxiety and Knitting Podcast, or Knitting and Anxiety Podcast. I can't remember. It'll have a title, and that's what it'll be called. But thank you so much for coming to watch my next episode. I haven't decided if I'm going to call this episode 1 since I've changed the name of the podcast now, but I am, I think, 22 episodes in, so, and it's been quite a few weeks, well, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks since my last video, and I've done some knitting since then, and I have some acquisitions since then. So I just thought that I would share them with you, and I don't want to do it in a formal or rigid way, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do show notes at all, because the more tasks that I seem to pile up onto myself, the more I kind of rebel and don't want to do them. So if you have any questions of any of the things that I talk about in today's episode, please just leave a comment below, and I will do my best to get back to you and answer your questions. And I will also do my best to speak clearly so that hopefully that answers your questions for things like what kind of yarn I use, patterns, and that kind of thing. So my name is Allison. I am an indie dyer based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I have a son, and I'm married, and we've just recently celebrated 12 years together, married. My husband and I took a trip to Grand Prairie, and then down through Grand Cache and into Jasper, and did a hike, and it was just a couple of nights, and it was very enjoyable. The trip, just the two of us, and it was very much what I needed. Sorry about the sunlight. It's shining through the trees right now, and it's quite lovely out here. It was like 32 degrees today. It's July 16th, 2018. It's a Monday night. My husband and my son are hiding in the basement because it's quite warm, and they're playing wrestling. My son is obsessed with wrestling, and my husband also loves wrestling. So if you are a new viewer, thanks for coming to check out my podcast. It is about knitting, and I'll probably also talk about anxiety. And sorry for all the fidgeting. This is a new spot for me, and I have sore feet and ankles. We have a podcast group. Well, I have a group on Ravelry. It's not exactly for the podcast. It's mostly for my hand-dyed yarn and knit-alongs and that kind of thing. So if we ever do any more knit-alongs on my channel, we will have all the info posted in the group, which is called Allison Barnes Yarnies. So feel free to join us there. It's not a very active group, but when we have things going on, it is active. So let's get into some knitting, I guess. I have a finished object, which is actually not here because it was a gift. It was a pair of socks for my dad, and I'll see if I can grab a photo and post that for you somehow here. I'm in the process of trying to decide on buying a new computer, and I'm considering an iMac, and if I do decide to go that route, then I will have an easier time editing the podcast because I'm currently using iMovie on my iPad, which I find to be just a little bit fiddly. I think it's just the size and the touch screen and that kind of thing. So I will try to insert a picture for you of my dad's socks. But since I last recorded a video, I started a new knitting project called the Timely. It's a cardigan by, the pattern is by Truly Myrtle, and I'm just trying to see, I feel like I have ants crawling on me. One just went across the screen, that was kind of weird. So her name is Libby, and her pattern company is called Truly Myrtle, and the Timely cardigan is a fitted striped cardigan, and this is what I've done so far. It's raglan top down. This is the inside, and this is the outside, or the right side. So I haven't done too much yet, but I did a lot of this knitting in the car while we were on our road trip. And I'm using two colors that are quite subtly different. One is a speckle. I'll show you the skein version from Midnight Cravings. And it is called Room for Everyone. And this was an anti-bullying fundraiser. And I got 2 skeins of this. And I'm also using 2 skeins of Comfy Cozy Knits in the blush colorway. And this is a fingering weight cardigan. And so I'm just doing a little bit at a time. I'm not rushing through it. I can't wait to wear it, of course. I love the colors in it. Again, it's just subtly striped. I didn't want something too contrasty. And so far it's been a very enjoyable knit. Nothing too complex yet. So the next thing I'll show you is my dad's sweater. So I have picked up working on my dad's sweater again. This is in my Sew Shannon bag. Oh, and my Timely is in my Andrea's Hand Spuns yarn party bag. So my dad's sweater is coming along fairly well. I've finished the back body and the 2 front panels, and I've just started on the sleeves. And this is an elbow feature on the sleeve, and I've started the second elbow feature of the second sleeve. And I won't go into any details of the construction, but the pattern itself has a really interesting ribbed effect on the elbow going this way, and then ribbed effect on the forearm going this way, and then just plain stockinette going up to the shoulder. And the front and back are just plain stockinette. And the yarn I'm using for this is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash in the color Camel Heather. And my dad picked the yarn. He chose the pattern as well. I gave him a couple of options of styles, and he picked this. Oh, I guess the name of the sweater would be helpful if I have it. It is called Chicane by Cookie A. And I don't have... Oh wait, yes I do. It's very difficult to see. This is Chicane, so you can see the ribbing detail here and here on the sleeves. I was running out of ink when I printed that out, so it has been really fun to knit. Kind of hard to put down. It goes so quickly because it uses worsted weight yarn, and so it's been very enjoyable to knit. I'm not going to show the front and back pieces because they're just curled up rectangles. I have to block them before I seam them because it's a seamed sweater. And yeah, my hands have been really sore the last few days. I don't know if it's just from too much knitting, which I don't think it really can be because I don't knit a whole lot during the day or in the evenings. I'm thinking that it might be a barometric pressure thing because they're actually, yeah, it might be from knitting because they're feeling okay now and I haven't knit all day. The next thing I want to show you, I think, is a sock. I have another Sew Shannon bag. And I'm knitting a sock from a sock blank from Ginger Snap That. And I'm just doing, what is that one called? Not the Jelly Roll, the other one. Rose City Rollers. I'm doing the Rose City Rollers pattern, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. And this is the cast on. It's just a rolled cuff, slip stitch heel, and I just finished my gusset decreases. And so I'm just starting to get into the fun colors right now. I found it a little bit boring at the cast on. There wasn't enough color for me up there. And these socks won't look the same at all when I knit them because I'm sure I will have the second sock starting full into the color with not too much of this kind of grayish color. Yeah, so now that the hard part's done, it's just round and round and round she goes until I get to the toe decreases. And I usually knit for about 7 inches before I start my toe decreases. I have a size 6.5 to 7 foot, and I find that length works really well for me. I'm using I lost a needle cover somewhere. I'm using the Chiago 9-inch circular needles, size 2.25 millimeter, and I'm trying to tension my yarn tighter than I normally do because the last time I made socks, they fit my dad. So, yeah, so I'm trying to be more mindful of my tension and holding the yarn tighter, and if that doesn't work, then I need smaller needles because I really like using the 9-inch circulars, and I can't seem to knit or cast on less than 64 stitches. It just won't fit around. So I have some figuring out to do still on my sock fit. I do enjoy knitting them. I would like to have more. So I'm just gonna keep plugging away. And oh, there's my needle cover. So other than knitting, I have a little bit of crochet to share with you. This is in a project bag that I made myself a few years ago, and in it is my crochet granny stripe blanket. So it has grown quite a bit since the last time I showed it, and I'm just using scraps from leftover projects that I've knit and that my friend Ashley has knit. I've gotten some scraps from another friend that knits, so and it is my wingspan, so it's a little over 5 feet wide, and I'm hoping that it'll just be a nice size to use to cuddle under on size 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. It's a clover hook, and this is my bag full of scraps and minis that most of them have been put into this blanket already, but I still have a few more left to add. So while my husband and I were on our road trip, we got up to Grand Prairie and we headed straight for Sexsmith. There's a yarn store up there called Hippie Strings, and we got there just after 4 o'clock on a Saturday, so I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to go in and shop around before they closed. And I found some Briggs & Little yarn, and I bought a sweater's quantity. And I bought this kind of a heathered purple color, and I got 6 skeins of it, and it was so reasonably priced. It is a scratchy, sturdy woolen spun wool yarn, non-superwash, and it is from New Brunswick, and I really like the color. My husband helped me decide on the color, so that was nice, and it was only $7 a skein, and these are 100 grams, I think. 4 ounces, so 113 grams. And it is a worsted, and I'm thinking of doing, well, of course I want to do a sweater with it. And I'm thinking of doing the Harvest cardigan by Tin Can Knits. Either that or making my own chicane sweater, the same pattern that I'm making for my dad, but in the women's version. Yeah, so no immediate plans to cast this on, as I have my Timely to finish and my dad's sweater to finish. And yeah, I'm almost thinking of maybe, if I can, figure out how to line this sweater with like a nylon or something, so that it doesn't itch my arms too much if I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt under it, because it will feel itchy. But that's another reason why I'm thinking of doing the chicane, because it's a zippered cardigan and it would make a nice outerwear piece for like the fall. I get cold really easily, so I couldn't wear it as an outerwear piece in the winter, but that's okay. So another thing of stash enhancement is for the Tits Out Collective. The Tits Out Collective was a massive fundraiser hosted by Countess Ablaze in England, in the UK, and a whole bunch of different indie dyers put out their own versions of this colorway called If I Want Exposure, I'll Get My Tits Out. And I didn't want to buy any yarn, but I did want to support the cause, and I ended up buying some spinning fiber. And I bought spinning fiber from the Fiber Goddess, who is Jen, and she's in Calgary, Alberta. Is that upside down? There we go. Isn't this gorgeous? I got 2 of these, very generous braids. They're over 5 ounces each, so this is 1. And it is a Polworth silk blend, and it is incredibly soft, and I have never spun a Polworth silk. I've never felt Polworth before, and I thought my idea for this yarn is to spin it 2-ply to get it to a DK or worsted weight, and then to knit a yoke sweater using this color as the yoke, and then finishing the rest of the sweater with like a black or dark gray maybe. If you have any other suggestions of colors that I could use as the body and sleeves of a sweater, I would love to hear what you think. So that's it for stash enhancement. Currently my own online shop has some new yarns that were just added. I dyed up some new colorways. I have color play skeins in there. I dyed some yarn that was inspired by our recent road trip to Jasper called Valley of the Five Lakes. I may insert some pictures if I can, but I didn't bring them outside with me. And I also put some of the former Yarn of the Month Club or Fiber Fix Color of the Month in the shop. So I have the November and not the December, but I have the bonus 2017 Yarn of the Month colors in the shop. The November one is called Orchard, and it is super bright and juicy and gorgeous, and the bonus Yarn of the Month is called Afternoon Tea, and it's the palest baby pink with speckles of green, burgundy, and lilac, and it's really, really pretty and sweet. So I hope you'll go check those out. Other shop news, this week I'll be dyeing the July Fiber Fix subscriptions and getting those out in the mail when they're dry, and I don't have any other dyeing planned unless I really feel like it, because I am definitely slowed down this summer with my son being home from the summer and doing lots of outdoor activities. I don't want to make him wait for me to dye yarn. So yarn dyeing is sporadic at best this summer. Sorry for the motorbike noise. But I do want to share with you some new yarns that I tested out a few weeks ago that I finally got around to skeins. I bought, just to try, some 100% bamboo yarn from my supplier, and I bought it in both fingering weight and DK weight. And so I tried some fiber reactive dyes. I love the way the colors turned out. It wasn't really that difficult to do. It was just a little more time intensive than wool dyeing is. So the first set I'll show you is on the fingering weight, and these don't have names, but I did a speckle, which I didn't know how it would turn out, and it turned out pretty good actually. And these are the two solids, which aren't bad. The purple is a little bit more patchy than I thought it would be, but it's really cute. This is a 2-ply fingering weight, and it's so shiny. The bamboo almost goes crispy when it's wet, but when it dries, it just goes super soft again. So I'm thinking I probably won't be putting any in the shop this summer. I would really like to maybe get a sample knit or crocheted with these and plan for next summer to have, or next spring I guess, to have some bamboo yarn in the shop. Let me know what you think of bamboo yarn. Have you used it before? I thought it would be a great wool alternative. It would be wonderful for summer garments and accessories, or for baby clothes. Let me know what you think of bamboo yarn. And then the other base is the DK weight, and I just dyed 3 semi-solids in these really pretty colors. And I'm thinking of knitting or crocheting, but probably knitting a summer garment for myself using these, and just to test out how it knits up, what my gauge is like, how it works for certain patterns, and just having a sample on board for if I decide to use these for next year, for 2019. So what do you think of these colors, and do you have any pattern suggestions? This is DK weight, and it's 100% bamboo, and I have about how much do I have here? About 700 to 750 yards. Let me know what you think. And I wear like a size small medium. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. I don't know how often I will record a video. This one seems to be going well, and I don't mind being outside. I just feel like I'm talking a little bit more quietly because I don't want the neighbors to be too nosy and wonder what I'm doing out here. So Thanks for watching, guys. Have any questions, please put them below, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to know when I have a new video posted, you can click on the little bell to get notifications of when I have a new video up. If you are an anxiety sufferer, please let me know. I'm here for you, and I appreciate everyone's support since I've recently started talking about my own anxiety. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye. So it's the next day. I recorded a podcast yesterday, and upon completing it, I realized that I hadn't really gone into any of the anxiety part of this knitting and anxiety podcast, and because I want to face my demons, I guess, head on, I do want to share, parts of my life, parts of my anxiety with the public, to help myself, and to hopefully help anybody else who is also going through anxiety and that kind of thing. So I guess I'll talk about the reason why I knit. So one of the things I like to do is bring my knitting with me when I take my son to the park. So usually it's just a little sock, something to just focus on instead of constantly watching and worrying about him at the park. He has broken his arms twice at the park. Just mundane, ordinary things, nothing extreme, but because of his history of breaking limbs at the park, it causes me a lot of anxiety to take him there and to watch him play. So I try to have something to focus on, that I can look up and down from, just to check where he is and how he's doing, but not focus on him, and that seems to help a little bit. So that's one of the reasons why I like to knit. I like to knit in the car while others are driving, because sometimes I don't like the way they're driving, and that causes me some anxiety. Sorry, I was interrupted by a phone call. There's Cricket exploring. So knitting and anxiety. These cats also cause me anxiety. When we got them, they were sick. What are you doing? What are you doing? They're both in here. Anyway, yeah, so that's just a little snippet of why I knit and where I knit and when I knit. And I hope that I can continue to share some pieces of me with you, and I encourage you to share your life with me and how you cope with your fears and anxiety. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye. So a couple weeks ago, I was informed of some of this cotton spandex, cotton lycra. Well, lycra is spandex. It's a 4-way stretch fabric that was in the $1 a meter section at one of my local fabric stores, and so I bought this light blue, and I have a navy blue as well, and I got 10 meters of each. So I finally started cutting some pieces out today to make myself some underwear. My favorite underwear is handmade from a maker who I can't think of the name of right now, but I ended up buying the pattern myself. It's called Scrundlewear, and it's from Stitch Upon a Time Patterns, I think. I will have to give some information I'll have to find that out and figure out what it is. So anyway, I have 10 meters of fabric on the floor, and the cats keep playing in it, so I guess I should put it away. There's Sleeping Beauty, sitting in one of her favorite spots. My comfy chair in the sunroom. There's my yarn drying rack. Outside. Hey, silly girl.